Have you ever just sat quietly and wondered, when did things change between you and your kids? Think about all those years, changing diapers, those endless sleepless nights, being there through every heartbreak and every win, giving up weekends, vacations, sometimes even your own dreams, just so this could come true. And now, when you try to talk, they interrupt. When you give advice, it feels like it just bounces right off. When you need a hand, suddenly they're too busy. And worst of all, you feel invisible. If that hits home, you're definitely not alone. A lot of parents reach a point where things shift. You used to be the protector, the guide, the go-to person for everything. But now, it's like they don't see you that way anymore. Sometimes it even feels like you're more of a bother than a parent. And honestly, that kind of pain cuts deeper than almost anything else. It's natural to want to react, to remind them of everything you've done, to get angry, to yell, or maybe just shut down. But here's the thing. This might surprise you. Trying to force respect almost never works. What really works is something way more powerful, something much more dignified. And that's what we're going to talk about today. There are simple, powerful shifts you can start making right now. Things that don't involve guilt trips or arguments. Instead, it's about quiet strength, setting calm boundaries, and holding on to your self-respect. These aren't some quick tricks. They're real-life changes that can bring back the dignity and connection you deserve. Let's start with something that probably sounds familiar: trying too hard to please them. Have you ever said yes when you really wanted to say no, just to keep the peace? Or done something for your kids even when it made you uncomfortable, just so they wouldn't be upset? Many parents do this without even realizing it. Maybe you rearrange your whole day to babysit the grandkids even though you weren't feeling great. Or maybe you let them talk to you in a way that made your stomach twist, just so you wouldn't seem difficult. But here's what's important to know. The more you chase their approval, the less respect you get. Not because they're ungrateful or bad people, far from it. It's just human nature to value strength, not someone who always gives in. I once met a woman named Margaret. She raised 3 kids with everything she had. But as she got older, she started stepping back more and more. She let them make decisions about her home, her health, even her money. "I just want to keep the family together," she said. But the more she gave in, the more they stopped listening. She thought she was being kind. What they saw was someone they didn't have to take seriously anymore. Respect doesn't come from sacrifice. It comes from self-respect. When you put yourself last all the time, you're sending a message without saying a word, that your voice, your needs, your time, they don't matter as much. And people pick up on that. So if this feels like your story, listen carefully. It's time to stop bending over backward. It's okay to say no. It's okay to set limits. You're allowed to speak up when something doesn't feel right. You're allowed to take up space. And you don't need their permission for any of this. Respect starts with you. The more you honor your boundaries, the more others will too. It doesn't mean being rude or harsh. It just means showing your kids that your time, your energy, and your presence are valuable, and that you're not afraid to stand tall in your truth. Now, let's talk about another big piece of the puzzle: communication. When respect fades, so often does the quality of how we talk to each other. Maybe conversations with your kids feel like walking on eggshells. Or maybe you notice the talks have shrunk down to quick, surface-level exchanges. "How are you?" "Fine." End of story. But here's the truth. Communication isn't just about words. It's about how you show up, how you listen, how you respond, how you hold space for each other. And it starts with listening. Not just hearing, but really listening. When your kids talk, do you listen to understand? Or do you find yourself already planning what to say next? Waiting to jump in? If you want respect, one of the most powerful things you can do is show genuine interest. You don't have to agree with everything they say. You don't even have to like all their choices. But when you listen openly, without judgment, without interrupting, you create a space where trust can grow. And trust is the foundation for respect. Now, I know that can be tough. Maybe they've shut down. Maybe they're defensive. Maybe your past conversations have ended in arguments. But patience goes a long way. Try asking open-ended questions, things that invite them to share more, like, "What's been on your mind lately?" Or, "How do you feel about that?" And then just listen. Not to fix, not to correct, just listen. Another key is how you express yourself. It's tempting, especially when feelings run high, to get frustrated or defensive. But keep in mind, respect doesn't thrive in anger or blame. Instead, speak calmly. Use I statements. Say things like, "I feel hurt when," instead of "you never." This subtle shift helps keep conversations open instead of shutting them down. You might be surprised how much it changes the vibe. And here's a secret. You don't have to wait for your kids to change. You can change how you show up first. Lead by example. Show respect even if you don't always get it back right away. Sometimes the simplest acts, like remembering a small detail they shared, or checking in without an agenda, can start to break down walls. It's not about grand gestures. It's about consistency. Day after day, small moments build bridges. That said, it's also important to protect yourself emotionally. If conversations turn toxic or draining, it's okay to step back. You don't have to endure disrespect or emotional abuse just because you're family. Setting boundaries around what's okay to talk about or how you'll be treated is not selfish, it's necessary. Remember Margaret from earlier? After a long, painful journey, she learned to say no when things felt off. She started picking her battles and focusing on what she could control, her attitude, her tone, and her choices. And over time, her relationships began to heal. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't perfect. But the key was that she stopped giving away her power. You can too. Respect is a two-way street, yes, but the only part you can control is your own actions. So, focus on what you can do. Listen deeply, speak calmly, and protect your heart. Now that we've covered communication and setting boundaries, let's dive into something many parents struggle with: expectations. It's natural to have hopes and dreams for your kids. After all, you want the best for them. But sometimes, when expectations don't match reality, it can create tension, and feelings of disappointment can lead to resentment on both sides. Here's the thing. Adults don't always grow up the way we imagine. Maybe they take a different path than you expected. Different career, different lifestyle, even different values. That can be hard to accept. But holding on to rigid expectations often backfires. It can create pressure that pushes your kids away instead of bringing them closer. So how do you find balance? Start by recognizing their individuality. Your kids are their own people with their own journeys. When you honor that, when you accept them as they are, it opens up space for genuine connection. It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything, but it means respecting their right to make choices. A good place to start is by reflecting on your own expectations. Ask yourself, are my hopes for my kids based on what they want or what I want for them? Sometimes we project our own dreams onto them, and that can cause frustration for everyone involved. Another helpful approach is to focus on values instead of outcomes. For example, instead of insisting they follow a specific career path, emphasize qualities like integrity, kindness, or resilience. These values serve them well no matter what path they take. Also, try to celebrate their efforts and growth rather than just achievements. When respect feels lost, sometimes it's because your kids feel like they can never measure up. But when you recognize their progress, even small steps, you encourage them to keep trying and to feel valued. That's powerful. And let's talk about forgiveness. Family relationships often carry a heavy load of past hurts. Maybe there were mistakes, misunderstandings, or painful moments that never got fully addressed. Holding on to those wounds can block respect and love from flowing. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing bad behavior. It means choosing to let go of the burden of anger or resentment. That frees you to move forward with more peace. If it feels hard to forgive, try starting small. Forgive yourself first for any regrets or guilt you carry. Then, when you're ready, work towards forgiving your kids for their mistakes. Sometimes, writing a letter, even if you don't send it, can help release those feelings. And remember, forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It takes time, but it's one of the most healing gifts you can give to yourself and to your family. Finally, let's talk about reclaiming your own sense of worth and dignity. When you feel disrespected or ignored by adult children, it can hit deep, making you question your value or role. But here's a crucial truth. Your worth is not defined by anyone else's behavior. It comes from within. Reclaiming your dignity means standing firm in who you are, no matter what. It means setting boundaries that protect your emotional well-being. For example, if conversations turn disrespectful or hurtful, it's okay to step back or say, "I'm willing to talk," when we can be respectful. It's also about nurturing yourself, investing in your own interests, friendships, and passions. When you build a fulfilling life outside of family dynamics, it strengthens your confidence and joy. That energy naturally shifts how others see and treat you. Another key is practicing self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on yourself when family relationships are strained, but treating yourself with kindness and understanding creates a foundation for healing. Remember, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. By forgiving yourself, you model healthy emotional behavior for your kids, too. You also create space to receive love and respect from others. And here's something powerful. Sometimes, the respect you seek from your adult children may come after you've established it with yourself. Leading by example can be a quiet, transformative way to rebuild your family dynamic. Finally, don't hesitate to seek support if you need it. Talking with a counselor, joining a support group for parents, or even confiding in a trusted friend can provide new perspectives and emotional relief. You don't have to navigate these challenges alone. At the end of the day, respect in family relationships is built on ongoing effort through communication, understanding, forgiveness, and self-love. It's not always easy, but it's deeply worth it. Your story as a parent continues to unfold, and every step you take toward healing is a gift to yourself and your family. Thanks for watching. If this video resonated with you, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content about family, personal growth, and emotional well-being. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Feel free to share them below. Take care of yourself, and remember, you are worthy of respect and love.